Hi, Scott again from EdgeMath. I've got a few problems from students about using tree diagrams for some probability problems. So we've got a coin tossed 3 times. We want to list all the possible outcomes. So we could try to do this, like, we could probably do it carefully by hand, like start listing out heads, 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 and then we could have the first one tails, and heads, heads, and so on. But even for that, or especially if we have more, then it's hard to keep track and make sure we've got them all. So here's a way to do it without worrying about that. So you can use a tree diagram to represent very top is the start, so it's branching downwards, and we've got a coin toss, so that's 2 possibilities, heads or tails. So that's the first toss. It could be heads or tails. Then for each of those, let's see. If we get heads, we end up here. Then we roll again, and we can get either heads or tails. And same again. So if we do heads, then heads, we can also get another heads. That's the possibility we already did. Or we can get tails. Then if we get heads, tails, we can also get either head or tails after that. Then we won't note those, and then at the very beginning, if we get tails, we can get heads or tails after that. And then again, after that we can get heads or tails once again. And then that's all the possibilities. And then we can read off by just going down the chart. So for example, if we get heads, then heads, then heads, that's one way. That's heads, heads, heads. Or we can do heads at the start, then heads, then tails, heads, heads, tails, and so on. Then we'd have, the next one would be heads, tails, that is heads, so didn't write that, but this one's heads, so that's heads, tails, heads, and so on. That one was head. And then all the way down, we can continue on, and then the very last one would be tails, tails, heads, and tails, tails, tails. So we can note those, and note the ensuing ones by just going down and seeing where each node came from. So hope that makes sense, and that's a handy trick for a lot of different problems. We'll look at another example next.